on the 25th of Tevet. Naturally, in Hebrew, we call that Chaf Hei Tevet, marks the Hilula of a great Tunisian rabbi. His name was Rabbi Shlomo Mazuz Z'tl, one of the great rabbis of Tunisia, especially during the heart of the 1900s. Now, he was born actually on Yud Chet Tammuz, in English year 1908, to be precise, the 17th of July, and passed away on the 10th of January in the year 1982. He passed away about 43 years ago here from the time of recording. He became a great rabbi, a dayan, a judge in the island of G'raba in Tunisia, which had a great Jewish community. This would be until he makes Aliyah in the year 1956. And then afterwards, he will work and deal with in regards to various different Torah issues, be a Morei Tzedek in the land of Israel in of itself. But let's explore some of the highlights of the great rabbi's life. Now, he was born in G'raba. I remember G'raba had a great Torah Jewish community in its day, and very, very much was like, let's say, a bastion place within regards to Torah flourishing, especially in northern African countries. He came from great rabbinic heritage. His father's name was Rabbi Menachem Mazuz, very interestingly enough, and he would work in G'raba in of itself as a dayan, as a judge, and various different works, including the Mikabetziel, would be actually published. Also, a Shut, a Shelot and Shvot question and answers book of Zera David, I think, which was actually of Rabbi Sassi Matoka Kohen Yonatan, who happened to be the rabbi of G'raba in his time. Really, really great rabbi. Now, come on, the year 1956. At that stage in time, he was close to 50 years of age. He would move to Israel. He would actually come there, and many people would make Aliyah from Tunisia or from Tunis, respectively, and move to the land of Israel. He would move to Netivot over there. Very interesting enough. And he actually describes his journey, let's just say, to Netivot from the land of Israel. We know that it was tough. So he states himself that he was one of the, let's just say, the first families to actually live there, and it was tough conditions when they came to Israel. There was a scarcity of water, there wasn't much electricity, and but I think this, after a year period of time, he would move to a permanent apartment as opposed to being in, let's just say, a more fragile area in himself, which would end up becoming his home for many, many years. Very interesting enough, and he will get very much established. So he made it in Israel eventually, and when he would actually come into the land of Israel, he would take on various different roles, obviously being a great stature of his rabbi. He didn't necessarily want to make a living, a parnasah, from becoming as an official rabbi in of itself. And he would also work in various different jobs. Also, I believe he owned a shop, if I'm not mistaken, at one stage in time while he was learning pretty much a day and helping local residents with regards to a Torah sphere, a rabbinic sphere in of itself. And I think even his son, Rav Chacham Yecheskel, actually says himself that how he was toiling in Torah, even inside his shop in of itself. Everything that he would do, he would distribute books, promote Torah books in of itself, and very much, I believe, somewhat at a later stage, I think somewhat the year Heitaf Shin Yud Zayin, him and his friend Rabbi Nissim Kohen, I think he happened to be himself the rabbi of the Moshav Shar Sheret, if I'm not mistaken. It's a religious in the Negev, the Moshav in of itself. Well, one of the first rabbis, let's just say, to join together and say, like, Yom Iyun Shvu'i L'Rabbanei Hazo. They would actually come together with regards to, like, say, a rabbinic program inside their specific area in of itself, to strengthen the Jewish community in of itself. I think he was close also with Rabbi Raphael Kadir Tzavan, another very great Tunisian rabbi in of itself who really made it. And I think he himself happens to be the rabbi of the city of Netivot, interesting enough. And many, many times he would actually go and travel to Jerusalem, to the Kotel HaMaravi at that stage in time, to recite over Slichot. This was, I believe, before the 1967 Independence War also, if I'm not mistaken, which is very interesting. I believe so, but not interesting. It was reported that on Yom Ha'atzmaut he would say Hallel, I think, without a bracha. He passed away in English year 1982. That was naturally the 25th of Tevet that happened to be. Now, he wrote the great Torah books in of itself. That was actually published, including the Makabetziel, which was another great one of the, let's just say, the starting books which we're concentrating on over here, a monthly rabbinical, let's just say, Torah magazine, including novels within regards to the Shasta, Talmud Bavli itself, and Halacha in itself. I think that was actually printed in G'raba at around the year 1935. Then there was Keren Shlomo, which was talking about various different dinim on usury. And then there was more great Torah books, including the Shoel Umeshiv, which is Sheilot and Teshuvot, which was, I think, based on the four chalakim, the four parts of the Code of Jewish Law, the Shulchan Aruch, respectively. Then the Kiseh Shlomo, which is also a Sheilot and Teshuvot question answer book on various different teachings on the Shulchan Aruch, the Code of Jewish Law. That was printed in Tivot, I believe, in the year Hey Tafshin. Mem Zayin. Then the Midrash Shlomo, which was Chidushei on the Tanakh, the Torah, Nevi'im, and Ketuvim, which was various different sermons and laws in himself, also once again printed in the Tivot. And the Cheshek Shlomo, which was Chidushim on Talmud, on the Gemara itself, in of itself, once again, I believe, published in Tivot in Hey Tafshin Samach. Interesting. Now, he left great descendants also, I believe, reported over 9 children. Among them was Rabbi Cheskel Mazuz, who became the rabbi of Netivot, very, very prominent position inside that specific city in of itself, and was very close, I believe, with Rabbi Raphael Kadir Tzaman, and Rabbi we mentioned that just before. And then there was many Mazuz who happened to be a judge, I think, inside the court in of itself, and he was an advisor, I think, for the court of the government in of itself. And he, another one of his daughters, I believe, happened to be Yemima Mazuz, who also had a prominent position, I think, in the Misrad HaOtzar in of itself, which was reported over, I think, connected to the Israeli government, and Shola Ben Tzvi, who happened to be a, also interesting enough, various different positions, I think, Menahel Mekarka'ei Yisrael. I believe his sister, Kamasa Chana, would actually, Rabbanit Kamasa Chana, would get married to Rabbi Matzliach. This was a very, very famous rabbi, happened to be, I think, his Hilula during this time period, one of the great rabbis he happened to be of Tunisia. Very interesting enough. Baruch Barakia Mazuz, I think, happened to be a, let's say, a manager of Machlakat Chinuch Begazbar, let's just say, in of itself. So, very, let's just say, many, many different descendants, very prominent in their fields, respectively. His rabbi was Rabbi Shaul Mekikatz Sheli, very, very great Tunisian rabbi who we just spoke about, I believe, in the last few weeks. He happened to be one of the great rabbis of G'raba during his time and a great judge in of itself. Very interesting. So he was a great Dayan. He made Aliyah in the year 1956. He lived about 73 years of age, it was reported, over, and passed away in the Tivot, on Chafei Tevet, in the English year 1982. Now, friends, we are community here. We're learning about the great rabbis of yesteryear. Please, if you happen to be related to any of the great Chachamim we are speaking about, please send me an email. I would love to hear more. If you feel anyone will be interested in watching these videos, please share the videos to those people respectively, and subscribe to the channel now. Wishing you all well and blessings from Israel. Take care.